two guys from work who won't shut up about football, but are pretty damn entertaining? Well, they decided to buy a couple microphones. And with that, we welcome you to the CheesyCorn Sports Podcast, where Justin Adams and Martin Chaney wrangle over everything college football and NFL. Bold predictions, hot takes, and live game reactions. This is CheesyCorn Sports.
Hello and welcome everybody to week 13. CheesyCorn Sports here live. Get you ready for your games today, and hopefully some of you want to push for the playoffs. Some of you might be eliminated, and but if you're still going along with it and setting your lineups, good for you. Good for you. Type of people we like to have. All right. Well, we'll break down the matchups today. We'll go into a little bit of a start sits, and we'll get into my rankings a little bit. Chaney is not with us today. He bailed again. No, I'm sorry. He's a little under the weather. So Chaney will be back here on next Friday. I kind of bailed on him on Friday. Had something come up too. So we're helping each other out this week. But y'all are stuck with my bright smiling face here. So we'll get it handled. So all right, let's go ahead and start by just getting into the matchups. And boy, do we have some terrible matchups today. Chargers, Patriots. This is one of them. First off, nobody wants to watch the Chargers go against the Patriots. But we're here to talk about a little bit of fantasy stuff. So who do we want from this game? Let's go into a little bit. Ramondre Stevenson's one I want to talk about first. Okay, Ramondre Stevenson has been better. It seems like Zeke is losing his touches. At least they're dropping little by little. So Ramondre Stevenson, you like Chargers, Justin Herbert. Keenan Allen is on the injury report. Not sure what the official update is on him yet. I haven't been able to find anything just yet. Let me look that up just to see if there's any updates on Keenan Allen's. I would imagine that he's playing just from the latest reports, expected to play, quad injury. So Keenan Allen will be going, which means Justin Herbert. That bumps Justin Herbert up a little bit. So that's always a good thing. Chargers offense really needs Keenan Allen to go. He is ridiculous here. 1,117 yards, 7 touchdowns, 97 receptions. I mean, it's just, yeah, Keenan Allen has been absolutely unbelievable this year, as he is every year. So Chargers, you like what you see from the Chargers. Patriots, again, yeah, you want no part of the Patriots. Let's go ahead and get into the Cardinals at Steelers, another game that we're not going to spend too much time on because who cares about it? Cardinals and Kyler Murray. What are we doing with Kyler Murray? All right. Well, one of the things about Kyler that everybody's got to understand, the rushing upside with Kyler is what makes him viable to say in fantasy lineups. I like Marquise Brown this week. Brown had 12 targets last week. He's great against man coverage. And the Steelers use a ton of man coverage. Kyler Murray is the only issue there. Hasn't been able to pass very well. Marquise is getting shadowed by their best corner. I believe Joey Porter is their corner, that rookie. And so yeah, it's going to be tough. I think Marquise Brown might stay on my bench this week just because of those factors. It's hard. It's really hard to gauge where you're at with Marquise, but just the fact that Kyler has struggled so much since his return, Marquise Brown, he's getting targeted. However, the quality of targets is the issue. One of the things we look at is target volume. I will bring you back to Nico Collins' 2022 season. Nico Collins was ranked 99th in target quality and 99th in target catch percentage, which means Davis Mills sucked essentially. So Nico's production was destined to jump up this year because of that. And it did. And so that stat is very similar with Marquise, where right now over the last couple of weeks, target quality is low. Catchable target percentage is low. So not all targets are created equal. I know we love to point to targets, but there's a lot of numbers that go into there other than just the targets that factor into that. So John Cheese is he's a little sick, so we're holding it down for him. It's one of the worst sicknesses you can have as a podcaster. It's a sore throat, so we need my mans to get some rest. But what's wrong? You have a problem with me now, John? Is it because of no, we didn't argue yesterday. No, it was the other day. It's because the Eagles suck, though. Is that why? Also, John, drop your college football top 4 in the comments. I'm curious. Okay, back to my start sits. So starting from this game, Jaylen Warren. Got to start Jaylen Warren. They got 400 yards of offense last game. Warren didn't have a good game last week, which is weird against Arizona. We would expected him to have had a good week, but he is going to get a crazy amount of volume this week. His upside's crazy. So in this game, I'm sitting Hollywood, starting Jaylen Warren. So, all right, let's move on to Dolphins at Commanders. Actually, let's go to Falcons Jets. This is the lowest over-under of the week, which is set at 33. So if you have fantasy players in this game, it's probably going to be tough sledding for points. I believe this leaves the implied total for the Jets at 12 points and 15 for the Falcons. Yeah, not good. Bijan Robinson is in my top 10, of course. He's got to be up there for everybody week to week, no matter what we think of Arthur Smith. Drake London, not 100% sure what to do with Drake London. He does do better against man coverage. The Jets run a lot of man. The Falcons, of course, run the ball so much. The Jets have the highest run rate over expected against. So I expect them to be running the ball a lot in this game. And I don't know what kind of target volume Drake London's going to get at all. So I think I'm leaving Drake London out of my lineups here. Breece Hall got, he's the target volume upside. Breece Hall is a definite start no matter what. Desmond Ridder, man, it's the Desmond Ridder effect here. What are we looking at? What is Desmond Ridder going to be able to do? What kind of volume is he going to get, especially in a game with this low of an over-under? I'm avoiding any Falcons pass catchers that I can. So, yeah, that's going to be a horrible game. Let's get to some exciting stuff here. Denver at Houston. CJ Stroud, who is Cheese is here. Wait. Michigan, Washington, Texas, Alabama. Yeah, that's what it should be, 100%. What's up, Cheese? Wouldn't be able. You don't need to talk properly. You just need to sit here and smile and look pretty. I'll talk. What's good, Derek? Appreciate you hopping in, man. Michigan, Washington, Texas. Only the things emergency team college football. All of them. College football playoff time, man. I hope everybody's a fan of college football because you should be. It's good times, fun times. Now everybody's going to complain because one of the teams that should get in the playoffs is going to be left out. So hop on over there and just see the chaos. All right, Derek, I know you asked me a question. I forgot to respond to it, I think. So go ahead and ask that in here. I actually responded to it. I asked another question, but drop that in here. All right, Denver at Houston. Okay, first off, who would have thought that we'd be sitting here and Houston will only be -3 over Denver? Not me, and I think it should be greater than 3, 100%. So Houston would be my lock of the week. Just a heads up, betting wise. But every time I pick them as my lock of the week officially, they lose. So I couldn't do that. All right. Devin Singletary is one of the people I want to talk about here. A near even split with Dameon Pierce last week. I think Singletary had 6 or 7 and Dameon Pierce had 5. Singletary had the highest snap percentage, though, and route participation. So it was, and in the red zone, he outcarried him. So game script right now seems to be favoring Singletary. Game script seems to be favoring Singletary. Pierce, I'm not sure how they want to use him with Singletary coming on like he did those couple of weeks before Pierce came back. It's tough right now in this backfield to figure out who's going to be the guy and who's going to, which way it's going to go. But it hurts him, but Singletary is going to still be the lead back. I would still run Singletary as a decent flex start. Probably he's not going to be your locked and loaded top 15 like he was, but a decent flex spot. So I'm still putting him in my lineup. My start of the week let's see, hold on, let me pull this up for you. From this game, it's Cortland Sutton. Hang on. Hey, Corey, just heads up. I don't see the top 10s on there. If you want to send the link through on here. I don't see him on the Twitter, but Cortland Sutton is my I was trying to pull up my start sit of the week thing. Cortland Sutton was start of the week. He is relied on more touchdowns and targets, and he has been hit or miss this season, but I expect that he's going to have a good game. It's going to be probably a lot of targets to him because of the game is going to be so high scoring. The Broncos are probably going to play him from behind. So I think he's just going to get peppered with a lot of targets there while they try to, keep the game close. Because I do think the Texans will probably lead for the majority of it. So it's just one of those things that I just think game script wise, I think Sutton's going to have a lot of volume. Do I think he'll turn that volume into points? We'll see. So PPR, Cortland Sutton, fire him up where you can. All right, here we go. Hold on, let me see. We got some questions in here. Wisconsin. Oh God. All right, Singletary, Henry, A-Chain, Kamara. I have 3 to start, or I could start off 4 and not played Hollywood in the flex. All right, so Singletary, Henry, A-Chain, Kamara. So start Henry, start Singletary. Is A-Chain playing? Double check that. And then Kamara. So Singletary, Henry and Kamara are in my top 10 backs. And let me check up on A-Chain's status here. All right, set to play. Now, my only issue with starting him is he's set to play, yes, but what does that mean? Also, what are the odds he comes back and gets banged up again? So you run that risk if you start A-Chain. So if you want the upside, right, let's say you're projected to lose by a semi-decent amount of points and you need that upside, then I go A-Chain. But if you're comfortable with kind of a rock solid floor guy, I would then put Singletary in there instead. So, but Hollywood, I'm not high on this week. So the choice then becomes between A-Chain and Hollywood. And if I knew A-Chain wouldn't get re-injured, then it would be 100% A-Chain, but I'm about 60-40 A-Chain on that, just because the Cardinals offense is so bad and his catchable target percentage is absolutely terrible. So, so Singletary. So Henry and Kamara for sure. Singletary and A-Chain. I would just do those 4 probably. Single top 24 rest of season. Same for me. Henry, Montgomery, Warren, A-Chain. So, okay. What's up, Michael? Appreciate the question. Same for me, but Henry, Montgomery, Warren, A-Chain, and Williams. So Warren for sure. You need 3 to start. If you need 3, I'll put them in order too, just in case it's not that. Henry, Montgomery, Warren, A-Chain. So I love Montgomery this week. I love Henry, Montgomery, and Warren this week. A-Chain is just the question about his, like I said before, and Williams. I'm probably going Henry. Henry, Montgomery, and Warren. I like those 3. like I said, if A-Chain was 100% healthy and we knew he was going to get the volume and we knew he was going to be explosive and we knew, this, that, and the third, definitely A-Chain. But yeah, but regardless, those three, Henry, Montgomery, and Warren, they're going to eat today, in my opinion. Appreciate the question, man. Yeah, he's fullback. Logan fucking Thomas. Let's go, baby. Not Logan Thomas, that's for sure. No, with Olave's playing, but I don't think Michael Thomas isn't playing. They're missing 2 receivers. I'm trying to think of who else. So I actually think Taysom Hill might have some upside this week. So I'm rocking with, but I'm playing against Taysom Hill, so I don't want to pick him. So let's go Logan Thomas for the memes. Georgia hurt my soul last night. I'll never financially recover from this. Bro, that was a tough loss, huh? That was a good game though. That was the best game there was. Oh yeah, Shaheed. That's right. Rashid Shaheed. So Rashid Shaheed's out. Olave's in. Michael Thomas is out, which means Hill and Olave are probably going to have some good weeks, and I'm playing against both of them. So that's pretty fun. And both my running backs are on a bye week. Yeah, it's rough out here on these streets. All right, let's get back to the rest of these. Where are we at? Falcons, Jets, Denver, Houston. Okay. Russell Wilson. Let's get into Russell Wilson a little bit. Russell Wilson is, as we've talked about before, right now, he's a good football. Well, I don't want to call him good football quarterback, but like for what you see on the field, he is serviceable right now. That doesn't necessarily translate to fantasy points. So I'm still not in a position where I want to start Russell Wilson unless it's under extreme circumstances. So we're firing up Sutton, and then Texans, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Noah Brown is back. So that might cut into a little bit of the volume for Nico and Tank Dell, but it remains to be seen how much. Just know it's going to drop a little bit, but those guys are still going to be locked and loaded fine in there. Tank Dell's still sold like in my top 10. So yeah, you're still rocking with those, but Noah Brown coming in just changes it up just a little bit. All right. Lions at Saints, and I'm trying to peek in y'all's comments too. Let's see. Olave, Taysom, and Kamara all going to need to blow up if New Orleans wants a shot to win. I think Kamara's going to have a crazy day. Christian Watson or Scary Terry. Christian Watson is getting shadowed by, I forget who it was. I'll have to look. I think I have my notes. I hate Terry, dude. I hate Terry McLaurin. You know what? I'll go Christian Watson. I'll go with my gut. I don't like Terry McLaurin. I'll go Christian Watson because regardless, he's getting targeted. He's getting shadowed by the best guy, but he still gets his touchdown upside and stuff like that. And Terry McLaurin is just never, I don't know. He's just never worked out for me anytime I've picked him. So Christian Watson, I just feel better about Christian Watson. Take the passing. No, absolutely not. Don't listen to Chaney. Absolutely not. I refuse to pick Terry McLaurin for what it's worth. So, okay. Back into do you think Kyron Williams will go off against the Saints? I think he'll have a crazy good game. I don't think he'll match what he did last week. I think it's gonna taper back a little bit. I think it'll fall back into top like RB15 territory. We'll see if it's RB top 10, So I would say I would project him out to be probably a top 15 back this week. I have him in my top 10. I will say that, but I think just averaging him out, I think there's a range of possibilities coming off. I'm a little bit off of the last week, the surge. And so when I was making my rankings, I factor that in. But I think the floor for him is probably in the 15 to 20 range. I think the upside is, as we saw, in the 1 to 5 range. So I put him, I believe, at 7. Yeah, Cleveland. Yeah, and what'd you say? Saints, close enough. We're talking about the Saints. So, Lions at Saints. All right, Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to go crazy this game. Jahmyr Gibbs is my RB3. Just want to throw that out there off a rip. David Montgomery, like I said, starting David Montgomery. I like David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs this week. One of the tight end sleepers that I've had all of last year, and that I'm kind of getting a little bit into late this year in some of these late matchups is Juwan Johnson, because the tight end position has been so horrendous over the last couple seasons. Juwan Johnson was a guy I liked last year because he played receiver in college and is stupid athletic. And I don't know why he doesn't get more, I guess, volume, but because the dude can receive it. He's got only 142 yards this year on 29 targets. So I think Juwan Johnson, because of those injuries, is going to have an uptick in his receiving as well. So I think it'll be a little bit of a Taysom Hill, Juwan Johnson. You know, I think they'll have Taysom Hill out there for the gadget stuff. I think they'll have Juwan Johnson when they need that big body out there. So, yeah, Juwan Johnson had 7 targets last week, I believe. So I like him. Outside of that, with Montgomery, he's the goal line guy, as we know. So even with Gibbs in there, I think he's top 15. So we're rocking with Montgomery for sure. Colts, Titans. Poor JT owners, huh? How y'all feeling? That means one thing: Zach Moss is a go, though. Zach Moss owners rejoice. Jonathan Taylor's out. I don't think Jonathan Taylor will be out the rest of the year, personally. But Zach Moss, we've seen his upside, what he can do when he's the feature back in that offense. So, and you know, the Titans aren't a very explosive offense. So I could see, and they don't score a lot of points. So I could see the Colts maybe getting out to a little bit of a lead and trying to utilize Zach Moss a little bit more. It's not a great, like, Tennessee does have a decent run defense. But I feel game script could roll in his favor. The Colts are a favorite by a little bit. And so Zach Moss, he's in my top 10. He worked his way into my top 10. I believe I have him at RB9. I'll pull those up for y'all here in a little bit. Derrick Henry is in my top 10 as well. He was really struggling last week, but it's really hard to just go against Derrick Henry to just not get it going, you know, have back-to-back down weeks. I don't think the Colts run defense is that good. And so I think Derrick Henry is going to I think he's going to be a top 10 running back this week. I don't have him as top 10 running back rest of the season. I just this week. And Zach Moss as well. I have Zach Moss actually ahead of Derrick Henry, though. DeAndre Hopkins. Okay, so DeAndre Hopkins, the Titans have only passed. I can't remember that number. They passed less than 50 times. I think it was like 47 times in the last 2 weeks. So DeAndre Hopkins had that one game where he had 3 touchdowns, 40 some odd points. And from then it's just, he hasn't been able to get anything going. And that's part of the reason why they're just not throwing the ball right now. And when they do, they're not necessarily throwing it to him. However, I think maybe with Derrick Henry's struggles last week, maybe they'll try to pass it a little bit more, which gives DeAndre Hopkins a little bit more of an opportunity. Treylon Burks is out, I believe. So, yeah, I would say if you need to start DeAndre Hopkins as a flex option, I would say he's definitely a flexible option for sure. D-Hop going to be great today. I didn't even read that until just now. So Terry is the Gabe. I wouldn't say great, but Terry's the Gabe Davis of the Skins. Let's go. Purdy or Howell? Howell is inconsistent as higher upside than Purdy. Let me pull up my rankings here. Well, if it'll let me. because I can answer that question. But I got Purdy. I got Purdy ahead of him. I already know I do. I have Purdy, I believe, at QB5, and I have Howe at 10 or 11. Can't remember if he snuck in there or not. Nope. God, Chaney. No, not Howe. Purdy. Go Purdy. Please. Don't listen to Chaney. Chaney's not here, so his opinion's irrelevant at this point. So Chaney, go away. Okay, let me get back to where I was. So, okay. Himuel Howe. No, it's Sir Samuel Howe, sir. I need you to back off. Okay. Leave me alone. Let's go to Chargers at Patriots. Okay. Oh, wait. No, I already talked about this one a little bit. Yep. So we're starting Ramondre Stevenson. You're starting Justin Herbert. I don't feel great about Justin Herbert this week, though. So, like, if you do have a better option, might want to go with that. Dolphins at Commanders, highest over under the week, 49.5. So, points. This is probably why Chaney's saying start Samuel Howe. But Dolphins don't play well on the road. So, hopefully that trend stops and we can get, some scoring from them in this game. Tyreek Hill is locked and loaded wide receiver 1 every single week, should be. Jalen Waddle got to be a top 10 receiver this week. The running back situation, with A-Chain playing, if he wasn't playing, I really like Jeff Wilson Jr. as a flex option in there, but it seems like A-Chain will be playing, so Wilson probably stays on your bench. But you fire up Mostert. Commander's side, Sam Howell, you're starting him, of course, especially in this game. But Logan Thomas, hopefully not. But Logan Thomas is in my top 15, not my top 10, not my top 12, for what that's worth. So if you do have a better tight end option, I'll probably go with them. Terry McLaurin, what to expect with Terry? The problem here is on the road, the Dolphins don't score as many points. And every time I think they're going to blow up and go off, they don't. So it's we can look at here and say the Dolphins, they score 1 million points. The Commanders are going to be playing from behind and throwing a lot. But the inconsistency of the Commanders' offense, even when they're behind, sometimes they still can't move the ball. And then, or later in the game, they'll start to move the ball late and they'll get some garbage time points. But it's hard to rely on that stuff. So I like their pass catchers this week, but I may not be as high on them as others. I'll say that. But Dolphins, you're firing everybody. You are firing up everybody from the Commanders. And like I said, unless you have a better option than Logan Thomas at tight end. But that's my personal vendetta against Logan Thomas. How's my QB5? And nobody cares. You're not even here. Yeah, it's right. Tell him. Him. Dude, I keep saying Himuel Howe. It's Samuel Howe. Why y'all change his name? I'm number 1 since I'm starting him. Yeah, I bet you do. I'm not starting him, so he's my sit of the week now. Panthers at Bucks. All right. Yeah, this one's gonna be rough. Adam Thielen, automatic start. First person that pops in your head when you think Panthers, Adam Thielen. This is a favorable matchup for the Panthers. The Buccaneers' pass defense has been abysmal, as you saw when CJ Stroud carved him up 470. So you're firing up Adam Thielen. I don't even think, even with that bad defense, I don't think you're starting Bryce Young, because Bryce Young's so bad regardless, I don't care how many yards he throws and touchdowns he scores. Look at him. He's short. So who gives a shit? No, but at real, Adam Thielen, Tampa Bay is good against the run. So Miles Sanders, Chuba Hubbard might be a little bit rough sledding for them, but just the pass catchers, it's going to be crazy. Bucks are banged up in the defensive secondary. I think when I looked it up, they're like the third worst against wide receivers. So you're firing up those guys as many of them as you can. Rashad White, he's been doing a lot through his volume. You know, we mentioned this before, and early in the season, one of the reasons why I didn't like Rashad White a ton was because of the lack of efficiency. But I he's one of the top 5 in touches, and it's turned into fantasy points. He's getting 50, very conservative 50 yards per game and only 3.6 yards per carry. But the pass catching volume is what sends him over the top. But because looking at those numbers are nothing to write home about, right? That's not somebody you're looking at loving to start. A guy who has 50 yards per game, 3.6 yards per carry, and 4 touchdowns. No, but 43 of 64 targets. That changes things just a little bit. So Panthers are Bucks are 3-point favorites. So we'll see. We'll see what ended up happening there with the Panthers in that favorable matchup. I'm curious to see if the Panthers offense can kind of start going here. So, all right. Sorry, I'm trying to juggle comments and everything too. Thielen or Pittman, a particular Logan. At this point, I'm just never going to say to start him. So take my Logan Thomas slander with a grain, or any start sets with Logan Thomas, take those with a grain of salt, because I'm probably not picking that motherfucker. Thielen or Pittman? Pittman. Pittman's in my top 10. Thielen is right outside of it. So Pittman. All right. Cool. I'm trying to pull up my start sits for y'all, but for some reason it's making me log into Twitter, even though I'm already logged in. It's weird. I don't know what's happening. Browns at Rams. I think I touched on everybody at Panthers at Bucks. Browns at Rams. Sad Cooper Kupp owner here. I don't know how many of y'all are out there, but life's been rough. The thing about Cooper Kupp. All right, I will say this about Cooper Kupp. And the reason why I don't get why everybody's as low on him as they are. Like, Cooper Kupp came out, IR in start of the season. He came back, and in that game, he got targeted 6 times on the first drive. And then that point, they were playing basically keep away from the Rams offense. The Rams offense kept going 3 and out after that, and it just didn't get a lot of opportunities, right? So Cooper Kupp had a bad game there, gets banged up again, comes back. He's played with a bum ankle, so he's not really, he got his ankle sprained in one game, and then he's playing with a bum ankle. So, like, it's like Cooper Kupp is still the Cooper Kupp, that we remember. And if not that, with the injuries, probably a little bit less. But however, he's not like this wide receiver that's fallen off, like people are saying. Like, people aren't taking into account the injuries that he's playing through and stuff like that. So, Cooper Kupp to me is still top when he's a little bit banged up like he is right now with the ankle, top 15. But when he's healthy, top 10, easy. That hasn't changed for me. So I need the Cooper Kupp slander to stop, because I refused to even trade him earlier this year. I love Cooper Kupp. So, from the Brown side, Jerome Ford, firing him up. He is getting the majority of the opportunities. Kareem Hunt didn't really do much of anything. I think Ford had, let me see how many carries. 13 carries. So Ford had 13 carries, or 13 of their 20 opportunities. So Kareem Hunt's banged up. I believe Cooper's banged up. And Joe Flacco, man. What to expect from Joe Flacco, man? First off, I think Corey said this the other day. I don't know if it was Corey said. Somebody said it. No, I don't think it was Corey. How the hell is he still in the league? And since when has he still been in the league? I forgot Joe Flacco was even here. However, he might be better than what they had. So we'll see. You're not starting no Joe Flacco, though. If you are, your season's already over. I'm sorry. Tyler Higbee, great week last week. Browns are a really tough matchup. If you have a better option than Higbee, fire him up. Because I'm not liking this matchup too much. For him, outside of that, Puka Nacua, you're firing him up. Kyron Williams are firing him up. So the usual suspects there, nothing really on the fence other than Higbee and Joe Flacco, if you were considering starting Joe Flacco. It's Shane Falco. Okay, my bad. I'll get it right next time, bro. Relax. Shane Falco. Oh man. All right. Sorry. And two, as you see people getting their questions in here, if y'all do have any questions about start sits, lineups, trades, or anything like that, please do pop them in there and I will answer them at my earliest convenience. I'm going to log into my Twitter here so I can pull my rankings up for y'all. So please bear with me. Well, I can't. Oh my gosh, I can't get in the password. Hey Corey, if you can type in the chat, do you know why it's not why it's not pulling up on the actual Twitter that I'm looking at when I load up my Twitter? I'm kind of get frustrated. And when I click the link, it's taking me, even though I'm logged in, it's taking me to a login page. Like I'm getting really frustrated. Screw it. Forget it. Okay. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Yeah, please drop a like and subscribe. If you haven't yet, it really helps us the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't left a comment, please leave a comment. We don't like to ask for that stuff, but YouTube makes us because they don't like us otherwise. They only like us if you like us. So please like us. No, I'm just kidding. We hope you like us. There we go. I won't beg and plead. All right, let me get into the next matchups. I'm annoyed Fulham with that crap. Dolphins, Commanders, Panthers, Bucks, Browns, Rams, 49ers, Eagles. What a game. Give me 1 second. Okay, cool. 49ers, Eagles. I mean, you're liking everybody in this game. Everybody the usual suspects you would normally fire up. Brock Purdy, Jalen Hurts, like all of these guys, CMC, Ayuk, looking at the looking on PFF at the wide receiver cornerback matchups, Ayuk has the best matchup against of any team or receiver this week against the Eagles cornerbacks. So fire up Ayuk. Another thing, Adam Thielen has the second highest against he has the second highest matchup advantage over the Tampa Bay cornerbacks. Keelan Allen is the third best against the Patriots. Deontay Johnson is the fourth best. Let me go ahead and pull this up for you here real quick. There we go. All right. So looking at this here, this is the cornerback matchup chart for PFF. So pull it up. I'm full screen this here for y'all. Okay. So Ayuk here, what this basically goes off of is how they fared in the past against certain of these cornerbacks, along with those cornerbacks and those defensive backs performance this season. So Ayuk, this is a very good location to kind of get your matchups and stuff like that and figure out who you want to start. Tyreek Hill against Washington, good matchup. Then we come down here and we have some below average. So Jonathan Mingo, Cortland Sutton. Now this is the one that I didn't necessarily like with Cortland Sutton as a sleeper of the week, but I still think there's going to be enough volume. Terry McLaurin was down here as well. That's why I'm not very high on Terry. Christian Watson, Cooper Kupp, Justin Watson, Drake London. So these are the guys that for the most part, you're trying to avoid. But CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown. So this is something that's really helpful when doing your start sits and stuff like that, because people don't put enough importance into the actual matchup of the cornerback DB. They'll go defensive matchups, but then they'll stay away from the actual cornerback matchups or looking into who matches up best with who. So this right here is super helpful. So if anybody wants to take a quick peek at that, I pull it up for you. But that's via Pro Football Focus. So very, very helpful there. Let me go back into our matchups comments. YouTube out. Yeah, I don't even try to figure out the YouTube algorithm, bro. I just talk and see if people like it. Not much more in this game. I mean, the game's going to be an excellent game. However, like the guys on these teams are guys that you're probably starting up no matter what. So fire them up, all of them. Kansas City at Green Bay, baby. I'm going to need your boy Jordan Love, Chaney, come through this week. I got him in my top 10, though. I got him in my top 10. Kansas City -6 at Green Bay. Green Bay coming on lately. I don't know how legit it is. Aaron Jones is out, which is unfortunate for me and my fantasy team. Kind of trash. Chaney, can you confirm whether or not Jaden Reed is playing? Because I believe it was Jaden Reed that was banged up. I think it was Jaden Reed. So can you confirm if he's playing or not? Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes sucks, but started my guess. Pass catchers from the Chiefs. The problem here, the problem with Mahomes, he does spread the ball out a ton, and the problem with his pass catchers, they can't catch passes. So there's that, and but there's no guy, like there's no one singular. This is the guy, each and every week. So Rashee Rice. If you want to fire up Rashee Rice, probably because he is the highest route participation. Geez, I can't talk in target share last week, and I think they said he was, what was he? First receiver to reach 100 yards since last year, like middle of the year last year, which is kind of crazy. So I think Rashee Rice is probably the only one you're firing up out of the pass catchers. Jaden Reed, if he is starting, I'll double check that. It was that chest injury. I think he was I think they were expecting him to, but I think Jaden Reed will have a good game. It was L'Jarius Sneed. That's right. It's L'Jarius Sneed who's on Christian Watson. L'Jarius Sneed. So, and I was able to find some numbers here. So Jaden Reed, his target rate, here it is. His target rate jumps from 16.9% to 27.8% when facing man. And Kansas City runs a ton of man. So Jaden Reed, if he's in, I like him as a sneaky start. So I would definitely fire him up. Okay, let's get back over here. Oh, am I frozen? Whoops. Hang on, guys. I'll be right back. Nope, still frozen. Hang on. What kind of show we running here, huh? Come on, man. My camera's freezing and crap. Come on. My co-host bailed on me. Left me scrambling at the last second. Could you? So would you start Love over Howell? I have Love ranked slightly higher. I would. My part of my heart's tugging me over to Howell. Oh, I think I'm gonna stick with Love. You know what? Let's go Howell. Let's go Howell. I need to pick Howell at least once. Let's go Howell. Plus, to be honest, I think Howell's floor is definitely higher than Jordan Love's. That's another thing that I like to factor in is like I think Howell's floor is definitely higher. I mean, Howell leads the league in yards, so he definitely gets his yards. He definitely gets his volume. Um, but we've seen really, really bad weeks from Jordan Love, and we've seen, I feel like, more good weeks from Howell than we have from Jordan Love. So it's one of those ceiling floor things, right? Like, do you want the ceiling of a guy like a Sam Howell, or the floor of a guy like Sam Howell? Um, because Jordan Love at the same time, his range of outcomes may be average into higher, but with that low floor, especially at the QB position, it's very common with Jordan Love to hit that floor. So, and I still don't think we know fully if Jordan Love is able to do this consistently. So that's my only fear. I do have him ranked a little higher, but those are the only question marks that then come into play. So if you're kind of locked and loaded and you kind of have a little bit of a cushion, projection a little bit higher than your opponents, and you can afford to just have the higher floor, I would rock with that option. But so that way you don't run the risk of your quarterback giving you a dud, and we know the officials like to help the Chiefs. So outside of that though, yeah, I think it's about it. And I think Jaden Reed is playing, by the way, for what it's worth. All right, let's move on. Cincy at Jacksonville. Okay. I really like Calvin Ridley this week. I really like Trevor Lawrence this week. Cincinnati's not great against the pass. The only thing Cincinnati also is not going to put up the volume that they normally do. So typically you would expect in a Cincinnati game for it to be somewhat of a shootout, but with Joe Burrow out, it's a little bit tough for that. So points might be a little tougher to go around, but the Jacksonville Jaguars offense is going a little bit better, and they had a lot of help for the officials last week to score points and win that game. But their offense is looking good in flashes. It's more consistent than it was to start this season because nobody knows what that was to start the season. Calvin Ridley couldn't even get a target. So you're definitely starting up Ridley. Ridley's in my top 10. Christian Kirk, you're firing him up as well. Those two guys, it's still hard to tell who's going to be the guy. But right now, that offense is finally going enough to where it can support two wide receivers. Coming into the season, we were like the Jaguars offense. It was supposed to support three, Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, and Calvin Ridley. But it couldn't barely support one to start the season. Christian Kirk was the guy who's PPR guy, getting 12 to 14 to start the season. But now it seems like they're getting at least to the point where they can support two receivers. So both of them fire them up confidently. Joe Mixon, we said to be cautious last week, and that turned out to be right because I'd mentioned before just with the core, like we know what Joe Mixon was before with Joe Burrow. With the quarterback change, I think people underestimate how impactful it is when an offense just isn't good to that specific running back. I think people think, well, the quarterback's going to go out, he maybe get more volume or this, that, and the third. But if they're not moving the ball, he's not going to get opportunities. So it's 16 yards and 8 carries last week. So what to do with Mixon? We don't know. But every week you kind of have to be cautious with him. And I think right now he's down in RB3 flex territory. And in my opinion, he's down in the RB3 flex territory for the meantime. Lowest implied team total. So the Bengals aren't expected to score a lot of points as expected, but Jamar Chase, you're still firing him up. Not a great game last week, but he still got his points. It's just going to be really hard to juggle. It's to see what comes out of that with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, both in there with him passing the ball. So this is going to be very telling about who we have in Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon, and T. Higgins to go for the rest of the season and through our fantasy playoffs. And hopefully the Bengals can find some semblance of an offense, at least something. It doesn't have to be Joe Burrow-esque, but if they could find some kind of offensive consistency, then that will at least instill some confidence in us. But right now, it's not a lot of ton. I'm a Jamar Chase owner, so it's not a ton of confidence for me there. Travis Etienne, he's my RB2 this week. He's I think he had an injury tag with a rib injury, but he's expected to play. Dearness Johnson, though, Dearness Johnson is a guy that you want to have just in case Travis Etienne does get a little more banged up. It seems like Dearness Johnson has taken over the RB2 role. In my opinion, it looks like he has gotten the volume over the last few weeks, and he has taken over the role from Tank Bigsby as the backup. So Dearness Johnson, yeah, interesting. Maybe deep flex start. So we want to keep an eye on Dearness Johnson. I picked him up last week. Bengals 5th most fantasy points to the slot, and that's where Kirk is. So there's a little stat for Kirk there for you. But yeah, Kirk, ETN, Calvin Ridley, Trevor Lawrence, start them all. Bengals, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon, up to your situation this week. We'll say that up to your situation this week. So, okay. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and try really quickly. Let me see. So just how read on my bench, they have him cleared. Yeah, depending on who your other options are. Like I said, I like Reed just based off of the matchup, how well he does when facing man coverage, and just how ridiculously much the Chiefs run man coverage. I figured he'd play because he had a limited practice Friday, I believe. So that's typically an good indication. So I think he'll be in there. So yeah, depending on your other pass catchers, I'd be curious of sliding him into that starting lineup. I just don't know what your league looks like right now. So all right, cool. Let me try to get into my let me try one more time to get into this to my rankings here. It's not going too well. Just give me 1 second, guys. I apologize. Meanwhile, if you don't mind, if you could just drop a like on the video, help us out. I promise I won't ask you anymore after this. Dude, I don't know why this isn't working. It's not letting me log in. Okay, there we go. All right, finally. Thank you. Okay, I'm still not seeing them. Okay, never mind. Corey, I'm still not seeing the rankings. Like, they're not on. I don't see them on the Twitter. So am I looking at the wrong place? I don't know. But I'll go ahead and get into my top 10s anyways. I'll pull them up here for y'all. I have them on my computer. Twitter's kind of frustrating me, not gonna lie. All right. I don't have time for all this crap, so I'm just going to continue. All right. Drop your questions here if you have any more. If anybody wants to call in, go ahead and call in. We'll talk a little bit of fantasy. You don't have to have video, just audio. You don't have to know what you're talking about. Just come on here and talk some ball. Let's have a little fun with it. Okay. Here are my top 10s. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get my life together here. I had it together, but now my stuff doesn't want to pull up apparently. So, okay. So running backs, my top 10 running backs. I'll just read them off because I'm frustrated by this. Week 13 running backs: Christian McCaffrey 1, Travis Etienne 2, Jahmyr Gibbs 3, Tony Pollard 4, Austin Eckler 5, Kyron Williams 6, Kamara 7, Zach Moss 8, Bijan 9, Derrick Henry at 10. Tony Pollard's still on here, but if I flip him off, not flip him off, but if I take him off, depending on A-Chain's health, man, I wanted to slide A-Chain into my 10 spot, but I don't think I can do that just yet. I would probably have to go with Jaylen Warren. I think Jaylen Warren would slide in there at the 10 spot. So, because Jaylen Warren's upside is crazy this week. Oh, there it is. I see it now. Okay, let's move over to wide receivers. Okay, Tyreek Hill, locked and loaded, wide receiver 1, Amon-Ra St. Brown 2, AJ Brown 3. Oh, I put him on there twice. My bad. That was actually supposed to be. Let me see. I'm sorry. Ayuk. So 3 AJ Brown, 4 Ayuk, 5 Keenan Allen, 6 Mike Evans, 7 Jalen Waddle, 8 Jamar Chase, 9 Michael Pittman, and 10 Calvin Ridley. Put your 10 on Facebook. Yeah, these are a little bit we changed the layout though. These are a little bit of adjusted, and I took CeeDee Lamb out and replaced him. I moved Calvin Ridley up, CeeDee Lamb out since he already played. I had CeeDee as my wide receiver 2. Okay, let's move over to the quarterbacks. All right. CJ Stroud, had to put him at 1. You know how to do it. But Tua, CJ Stroud, Tua, they have the 2 highest implied point totals of the week. They have the 2 highest over-unders of the week. Trevor Lawrence at 3. I just expect him to have a good game. I'm higher on him than most this week. Sam Howell, you know what? That's right. I forgot I did flip Sam Howell ahead of Jordan Love. My bad, y'all. I forgot. I did. Originally, I had Sam Howell at 11, but I forgot I changed up my rankings. So Brock Purdy at 5, Patrick Mahomes 6, Jared Goff 7, Justin Herbert 8, Jordan Love 9, Baker Mayfield 10. Dude, I'm liking Baker, man. He's got a banged up ankle, but I'm feeling Baker this week. I just think there's going to be a lot of points scored on them, and I think that's going to lead to a lot of garbage time points for Baker, and Baker has the rushing upside. So there wasn't a ton, to like at the QB position this week, and it's not a ton of good matchups this week. So take that for what you will. But yeah, I moved Sam Howell up. So you're changing your stance on Howell or Purdy? No, dude, those two are still neck and neck, right? So the same thing applies, I believe, with Howell as it did with the other question. I still believe Howell has a higher floor. We've seen Brock Purdy be pretty consistent, but I think Howell's average range of outcomes is higher, but it's just hard to go against Purdy, man, in that 49ers offense. Like, it's just like, it's one of those things. It's like, I would prefer normally probably Sam Howell this week. However, Sam Howell has his weapons and Brock Purdy has his weapons. So yeah, it's just a slight lean to Sam Howell. But as you can tell, I've been going back and forth with Sam Howell this week 100 times because I do love Sam Howell. I love Sam Howell. I've loved him all season, but I'm going to stick with Brock Purdy, man. I'm sticking with my guns. Go with Brock Purdy. Got to drop one more receiver to get a bye week QB replacement. Quentin Johnson or T. Higgins. Drop QJ without a doubt. No. QJ is he's not a good person to have. He was supposed to be, JSN. It was JSN, Jordan Addison, and QJ were supposed to be right there, neck and neck. And the problem with QJ coming out of TCU was 90% of his volume was in a 3-game, or 90% of his let's say his implied what would have been fantasy points or just overall volume was in 3 games. So and his highest graded games were 3 games. And outside of that, it was just abysmal, atrocious. And so QJ didn't have the consistency coming in, and that's why he's just kind of been there. Of course, there's other, you got Keenan Allen, but there's plenty of volume in that offense to go around. So, yeah, it's like QJ just can't seem to, he in college, he caught with his body a lot. So he drops the ball a lot. Like he still hasn't learned to catch with his hands. And it's just a slow route runner. It's just, yeah, not a big fan of QJ altogether. T. Higgins we know what T. Higgins is. He's just been banged up, and now he's in a somewhat bad offense. But T. Higgins, I still think, is just way more talented than QJ is. So, another touching point on the Chargers, Austin Eckler. So I mentioned last week, Austin Eckler's his actual volume was going down. His efficiency was down. It seems like Austin Eckler has not gotten the speed and explosiveness that he had last year. And the efficiency drop is probably the biggest part of that, I would say, in the fact that, when he's in there, when they are able to use, early in the season when they were able to use him and oh my God, I dropped like the backup's name, but they both would have consistent games, and that's when Eckler would be efficient. But it seems like even lately, like he's been getting more in the passing game, has been getting less in the run game, and his overall touches are staying similar, but his numbers are going down. So earlier this season, he was getting a lot of running volume, and now he's getting a lot more pass volume. However, it's not translating just because he's not able to do much with it. He used to be able to take those. What made him good was he was able to take those little swing passes or take those short, little passes and take them to the house, take them for 30, 40. He just doesn't have that this year. And I don't know exactly what it is, but Eckler's situation was interesting because it was a contract dispute this offseason, right? And so he bet on himself, and so far hasn't worked out. What does that mean for fantasy? That's the question right now. Just looking at the numbers, and this is why I have Eckler as my RB5, is it's not trending up for him. It's trending down, and until we see that efficiency come back, like he's a locked and loaded RB1, RB2 earlier this year, even up until a couple weeks ago. But until he shows something, man, it's been weird to gauge Austin Eckler. He's still getting his points. Like, don't get that twisted. But when you look at the advanced numbers, well, last week he had a rough week. But when you look at the numbers and you get into it a little bit more, it's just comparing them to last year, it's a steep decline. And so when the advanced analytics favor a decline, he's still getting 20 points a game like he was last year. Let's say he's still getting around the same amount of points. However, the advanced statistics show that, he's regressed. Then that means his points are going to regress. That means the odds of him staying consistent is very low, and that's what we saw last week, right? Because right when I mentioned his efficiency and the drop in his volume is when he had a bad week. So, of course, you're still starting Austin Eckler, but it's just one of those things. It's like, do you have a locked and loaded top 5 guy every week? And because that's what you draft Austin Eckler for. And so far, he's not been that. He has been certain weeks, but I'm talking about like here more recently. It's just been. If you watch him play, I think you'll see what I'm talking about. If you watch Austin Eckler run the ball, I think you'll see what I'm talking about. College football playoff is out. I believe FSU's. I just won't get this. They have 13-0 season win. Trash. There ain't no way Florida State should get in with that bum backup QB. No, it would be an absolute travesty, and the committee has to take that into account. I believe that should be part of it. If it's a lot of it's up to their discretion, a lot of it is they're able to discuss things like that. So hopefully they do us a solid there. All right, guys. If you want to get any of your remaining start sit questions in here or anything else before the show ends, trade questions or anything like that, go ahead and drop them in here. Apologies for the issues trying to get my rankings up and stuff like that. It was a scrambling this morning trying to get everything together since Chaney bailed on me. No, but yeah, if there's no more questions or anything like that, guys, I'm probably going to hop off here and just let y'all get along with your Sunday. Go ahead and set your lineups. Hopefully, y'all are pushing for a playoff run. Hopefully, you win your week. If you do, come and let us know about it Friday on our Friday stream. We will be here at 5 p.m. Eastern. Sorry, 7 p.m. Eastern. 7 p.m. Eastern, we'll be here Friday for our live stream. It's our casual live streams. We pull up some immaculate grid. We take some callers. We discuss the previous week's games. We discuss news and stuff like that. So if you're interested in that, join us on our Friday stream. Other than that, we'll be back here Sunday. Both of us will be back here Sunday and ready to rock and roll to help you. I've probably got, 2 weeks to the playoffs? So help you on those last couple weeks. Hopefully for the people who make it, we help you win a championship. I got my own championship to win though. So, but this has been CheesyCorn Sports, only fantasy presented by CheesyCorn Sports. I appreciate everybody on here who did join me. And like I said, we'll be back as normal next week. Thanks for hopping on, Derek. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Chaney. Everybody who hopped on and asked questions and joins us every week. So enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.